Hello and welcome. Today I'll be showing you my approach to using Autotune creatively with vocal chops. I mentioned this technique in my Sinjin and Zora video and got a couple of requests to do an explainer. I have a new mini breaks pack I've just released, which I'll link in the description, and please like, subscribe and turn on the bell notifications if you never want to miss a video. This project and the presets will be made available for free in the description, but the vocals are from Splice, so won't be included. The links to the individual files are in the PDF that comes with the project. I'm also using a Waves Autotune plugin, but I've included a Max Autotune plugin in the project, and you could use any real-time Autotune for this technique, like Antares, for example. So these are the chops with and without Autotune. So let's take a step back for a second and talk about sample selection and sequencing. These chops are taken from 2 samples.
Let's take it back to a time when we were so much in love, baby. Ooh, yeah. Let us retract all the pain we caused each other so long. Yeah. Go tell your lover that you've been getting your love from me, yeah. You found another, and that's okay if you're honest, babe.
So first I made sure these samples were in time. Then I've cut sections out of the acapellas, which you can see here. These are the chops with no repitching or FX pre-sequencing. If I drag a few of these out, you can hear what part of the vocals they are from.
In love, baby. Getting your love.
I chose the words or phrases I thought would work best, and this is largely down to preference and practice. I'd usually consider having a mixture of consonant and vowel syllables or phrases and short and longer notes, although it is worth experimenting. I generally avoid using vocals that have harmonies for this technique, but this can sometimes work too. I decided I wanted to be in A minor since A is a lower note and therefore a deeper bass. So originally I shifted all the samples down by 2 semitones, although I haven't done that with these chops here. None of the final chops ended up at -2 in the end anyway. On channel 6, I've laid out the chops as I would before sequencing them. The final sequence uses pitched around versions of just these 5 samples. I showed you them a second ago, but I'll show you them again. At this point, I normally add a bass, so I have another melodic element to work off. Then I arrange the chops whilst repitching them, and this is where the auto-tune comes in. I'll just play the full sequence all pitched down by -2, so you can hear how I've reused a lot of the same samples, and then I'll play the full loop. So much in love, yeah. So much So this auto-tune has been set to A natural minor with a speed of 0.1 millisecond and a note transition of 0.1 millisecond as well, plus the correction is at 100%. In terms of workflow, I would do the repitching and arrangement of the vocal chops at the same time, but I'd put the auto-tune on the channel first. Here we can see that I've repitched the vocal chops by varying different semitone values, and in a lot of cases these same chops are repeated. These 2, for example. And these 2 as well. So for example, this one is at 5 semitones and this one is at 3 semitones. Usually I'd shift within the intervals of the scale. So if A or -2 is my root, values like 0, 1, 3, 5, 6, etc. should work well. Although you can experiment with this, and the final chop is actually at 7 semitones. I've been using the Complex and Complex Pro algorithms throughout this video, and I prefer the more chipmunk aesthetic. But if you want something more natural sounding, you can shift the formants. I'll just play with and without the auto-tune in context so you can hear how it keeps the chops in key. I've also got this Max Auto-Tune plugin. The Max Tuner doesn't work quite so well in terms of making the samples pitch perfect. I'd usually do the synth or lead melody afterwards if I wanted the vocals to be the main melodic element. Although if I wanted the synth or lead to be the main melodic element, I might do this first and then add the vocals with the auto-tune technique later on. On the rest of the chain for the vocal chops, we have drum bus for character and chorus. If I turn these off, you can hear how clean the vocal sounds. The chorus detunes, so in my opinion, helps the vocal sound more natural and removes some of the auto-tuned quality. I think the original samples are already auto-tuned, so these will always sound quite auto-tuned, even with the chorus, because they've essentially been auto-tuned twice. This is why I've used this kind of wave aesthetic as well, because overly auto-tuned vocals tend to work quite well with this style. We then have EQ plus a short reverb and ping pong delay, which are applied via send A and B. And that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and please leave any questions or ideas for future videos in the comments. I'll see you next time.